All right. Hey, good morning, folks. Once again, we are back. We are not talking about the tropics today. Instead, we are monitoring a multi-day severe weather outbreak. Today is Friday, March 14th, 2025, and we are talking about a several-day tornado outbreak likely to get started here this afternoon across parts of the mid-Mississippi Valley, some of the Midwest, and even down to parts of the Deep South. Saturday, this threat is all going to shift directly into the Deep South, where parts of Mississippi and Alabama and even parts of Louisiana, Georgia, and Tennessee are going to get in on a significant tornado outbreak again. And then this is all going to slide off to the east on Sunday and impact parts of the mid-Atlantic and the Eastern Seaboard from Jacksonville all the way up into parts of Pennsylvania and New Jersey. So we've got a lot to cover in a short amount of time here. So we're going to go ahead and start with our large-scale presentation. We have our satellite presentation overlaid with our low pressure kind of mapping, and we can see a powerful spring source system getting going. Already 980 millibars here analyzed today. Low pressure moving into parts of Kansas and Nebraska, ejecting out of the Rockies. This is a classic spring setup for a major storm system. You got a lot of cold air over this way, and you got a lot of warm air running up underneath it, and that is how we get severe weather outbreaks in the southeast and in the eastern U.S. in general. And that is what we have on the menu today. So this low pressure is going to move off to the north today and move over towards the Great Lakes, and jet stream energy is going to be moving right along the base of this trough and moving right through this risk area where we're going to see significant severe thunderstorms develop throughout the afternoon and overnight hours. And again, only going to get another round of it tomorrow. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Storm Prediction Center. We'll go back up to their discussion. We'll go back to day one here. And again, guys, this is a 5-color categorical risk. We show these charts a lot. Anything with the dark green or higher is potential for organized severe weather. We're talking about damaging wind gusts, tornadoes, hail. That's what kind of separates a severe thunderstorm from a regular garden variety thunderstorm that produces lightning, heavy rain, and gusty winds. We're talking about more damaging winds, things like that. So really quick, just remembering our color categories, make it a little bit easier. Anything above orange is kind of a big deal. Orange is a pretty big deal on its own. Moderate's a very big deal. And high risk, we could get a high risk for tomorrow. I'm not sure yet. Those are exceptional days. We don't see that often. We typically see at least 1 or 2 moderates in a season, but they're kind of the bigger days of the year. So we are definitely in that territory. We're talking about a pretty significant outbreak. So looking at the different types of phenomenon we could see today, all of it's on the table, all of it's on the menu. We're talking tornadoes, wind, hail, all that stuff's on the menu. Now, it's going to be kind of a little bit of a bimodal setup here where we're going to have a little bit more wind damage and wind gusts in the north, and we're going to have a little bit more tornado threat to the south. So not sure if that mic's picking it up, but our long guy's out there working. So just, if you hear it, is what it is. The probabilities today mostly going to be focused on that kind of mid-Mississippi Valley for tornadoes. And anywhere you see that hatching, all the way down to like central and central southern Mississippi and all the way back up into parts of Iowa, could see significant tornadoes today. We're talking EF2 plus. But the highest risk is kind of more in the middle there. Wind damage threats a little bit further north, more Missouri, Illinois, and Iowa, but damaging wind gusts or destructive wind gusts can be found all the way down into parts of northern Mississippi, western Tennessee. All those threats, again, on the table, and we'll take you through the HRRR high-resolution model. We'll kind of show you the timing here. We'll go into 2021Z. This is early afternoon hours. This is when things are going to kind of really get going. And then we will move this through, and I'll kind of show you here as we go into the evening hours. This is where it really sets up. You're going to have this open warm sector with the supercell thunderstorms to the south. This is where your higher tornado potential is. And then this line of storms up here is a little bit more where your destructive wind gusts and your wind-driven hail damage could be. But each one can produce the other one's effect. We could get a couple really high wind gusts to the south here, and we could see a couple of embedded tornadoes to the north. So don't think, well, I'm on the wind side or I'm on the tornado side. Both sides have the potential to produce both, but we're thinking that the tornadoes are going to concentrate a little bit more in that mid-Mississippi Valley, and the worst wind gusts, again, up to 100 miles an hour possible through parts of Iowa, Illinois, and Missouri. So that kind of gives you a rough breakdown of today. These storms are going to be ongoing throughout the night and into the early hours of the morning. Nocturnal tornado threat, so please take this seriously in this area, and don't let your guard down. Just because one round is over, you may get more than one round throughout the night. So that kind of gets us into day 2. So we're going to go ahead and move along to the deep south. And this is a classic Dixie Alley tornado outbreak, a moderate risk in set for day 2 across eastern Louisiana, most of Mississippi, and almost all of Alabama, including parts of the Florida Panhandle. And then that enhanced risk, again, that orange is no joke either. That comes up into parts of Tennessee, extends all the way into much of Georgia, including Atlanta, and all the way over to Tallahassee and back down to the eastern, southeast coast of Louisiana. So this day is, again, I think we might see a high risk for the potential for violent long track tornadoes on Saturday. Tornado risk probability is 15% for most of the moderate risk area. This is a tornado-driven risk and more than a wind-driven risk, but there will be a high potential for significant severe wind gusts as well. Unlike Saturday, or Friday, where we see a little bit more of a split in the worst phenomenon, Saturday, everything's going to be right here in the deep south, and the potential for damaging to outright destructive wind gusts, again, violent long track tornadoes and large hail is pretty much going to be throughout this region, although the hail is going to be a little bit more off to the west where the colder temperatures aloft are. Kind of the same story. We'll take a look at the HRRR high resolution model. We'll go into the morning hours. We'll set you about daybreak. And we'll have some storms ongoing across central Mississippi. And where these storms are, this may hold off some of the worst weather for a little while, but we think by the early afternoon that's going to clear out. And then we're going to start seeing more supercells develop by the early afternoon. So I want to kind of point out again on this model what we're really looking at here. So it's not just a matter of, we see some storms and some rain, whatever. Notice these little kidney bean shapes that are taking place in all these storms. This is a potential for tornadoes. This is where we kind of see that updraft helicity. We see those storms moving up and trailing off to the right as they go up in the atmosphere. That is a classic mature supercell in the warm sector look for the potential for strong tornadoes. So that's kind of what we're really concerned about. And then we're also going to have the secondary line back here that'll kind of stay broken throughout the day. So as we go into the afternoon and early evening hours, we are still going to see the potential for those tornadoes across Mississippi, even down to parts of New Orleans, Mobile, Biloxi, Gulfport, all that stuff. And then they're going to trail off towards Alabama in the overnight hours. But again, all of these supercells you see here could be producing tornadoes at any point in time as they're moving through. So we could potentially have 4, 5, 6 tornadoes on the ground at the same time. So this sometimes doesn't look like it's that bad if you don't really know what you're looking at, but I can assure you with what this is producing and projecting, it's going to be a bad night across Mississippi and Alabama. So this is not a day to play with it. This will move into the parts of Georgia and kind of eastern Alabama after midnight. And then by the morning hours, what we see as we head into Sunday morning is a bit more of a coalescing of the line and a reduction in the overall severe threat. The energy driving the event in Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama will be moving out. So what's left will still be some strong energy, but not like what we saw on Friday or Saturday. So as we go into Sunday from the Storm Prediction Center, this is more of a slight risk, and this encompasses parts of Jacksonville, northern Florida, up into coastal Georgia, the Carolinas, even up in the mid-Atlantic states, Virginia, Maryland, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, all kind of potentially getting in on at least some damaging wind gusts, potentially some small hail. And there will be a few tornadoes embedded in this where the moisture is a little bit more rich at the surface. I could definitely see a couple tornado watches, but again, not looking at a major tornado outbreak like we are on Saturday across the deep south. But that's kind of the wave tops, guys. Again, just a couple quick things to remember. Tornado watch and warning difference. Watch is just, hey, the conditions are getting right for tornadoes, but we don't have any yet. Just your area is now in that timeline and time frame where, hey, you could be getting them. Remember, also, you may see PDS tornado watches today and tomorrow, particularly dangerous situation tornado watches. When we think there's a high probability, a likelihood of strong tornadoes, I almost assuredly know we're going to get at least a couple of those over the next 2 days. And then tornado warning, which is when we have radar or a spotter has confirmed that we have a tornado on the ground. If you get a tornado warning, that means you need to immediately go to your safe space, go to your shelter, take cover because the thing is happening. And even if it may not hit your house, it's still close enough to be a danger to you. And while we're on the subject, tornado emergency is when we have a large confirmed tornado moving towards a populated area. You may see that as well. That's just an even worse version of a tornado warning. Final thing, just safety. Remember, interior room, away from windows, bathrooms, closets, all good things. If you want to really go above and beyond, have a couple of old bike helmets or something in there, have some moving blankets to protect yourself, grab shoes, air horns. There's a lot of good safety information like that. But if you're in the path of some of these bigger tornadoes, guys, I know you think it can never be you, and everyone thinks that it's just human nature, but it could be. It really could be you. You don't want to get caught without things you need in an event of the worst case scenario. So we're going to keep a close eye on this today, guys. Best thing to do, have your local meteorologist on, have your weather alerts enabled on your phone, your emergency alerts and weather radio. And final thing, guys, if you know somebody in these areas, in these moderate risk and enhanced risks, shoot them a text, shoot them a call, send them a Facebook inbox. Just make sure they're aware. If you're watching a video like this, you pay far more attention than the normal person does to weather. But a lot of people don't. They live their lives. They got kids and soccer practice and job stress, and their boss is a pain in the ass, and they just don't think about weather. It's one of the last things on their mind. But these are not the days to be messing around with it, and it really could save somebody's life. So that's what I got for you guys today. I will have plenty more updates on the page, and if I have time, I will roll another one of these in the morning talking about tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. Until then, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and have a good one.